Welcome to March. Hope you guys had an amazing February. If you guys didn't have a great February, I'm going to quickly explain why that might have been. So February was the eclipse. It was like an eclipse crazy month. So there was the full moon in Leo along with the lunar eclipse at the beginning of the month, and then about like not even a week ago on the 28th, there was a solar eclipse and the new moon in Pisces. So full moon is all about release, and I'm sure because you guys are Leos, you felt that full moon. A lot of drama, a lot of emotions, a lot of wanting to be really romantic, really wanting to create, wanting to play, you know, get in touch with your inner child. Maybe some stuff from your childhood got brought up during this full moon in Leo. Whatever it was, the drama was on high over the full moon, and then the new moon with the solar eclipse in Pisces was just so chaotic emotional because Pisces, they rule like the 12th house, which is all about the unseen world and your subconscious mind, things like that that were kind of working with, you know, your heart chakra, especially during the solar eclipse and the new moon in Pisces. So a lot of compassion, a lot of generosity, a lot of shape shifting, you know, seeing people's true colors. And the new moon is when you really want to bring in stuff. So during the full moon, we had this dramatic release of emotions. And then the new moon was all about bringing in compassion, bringing in understanding, bringing in, you know, that chameleon aspect where it's like, I've realized that I have, you know, all these talents and you really want to manifest them into your working and waking world. So that's pretty much what went on in February. I'm not quite sure how you guys felt with the full moon being in your sign. So please let me know, send me a message or comment or whatever, and just let me know how it worked out for you, because for me, it was fun, to say the least. It definitely opened my eyes to some things. On Saturday, Venus goes retrograde. So if you guys have heard about Mercury retrograde, which is really getting more popular, but Venus retrograde is all about love, beauty, finances, things like that that you have fun with. So when Venus goes retrograde, a lot of issues from the past, lovers, past relationships, you know, I've been having dreams about my exes like all week, and okay, Venus retrograde, past lovers coming back in. You don't really want to be making any decisions until at least April 15th when Venus goes back direct. So if you're thinking about moving in with an ex or, you know, getting back together with an ex, just hold off until the 15th when, you know, the energies are clear and you can come from a strong and secure and confident place, okay? So I'm going to get started for you guys. March 2017 for the beautiful, fierce, confident Leos. Ooh, looking good. This is the card that popped out, so I'm going to use this as kind of our shadow card, and this is all about abundance. You know, Leos are incredible because even if they don't have much, it's like they walk into a room and they just are filled with confidence. A confident Leo is the best person to be around because they just lift you up. Leos, like I was with a Leo last night meditating, and they just have amazing, amazing grounding energy. Leo is a fixed sign, so you guys can definitely be very grounded and rooted, which is excellent, but then you also have that playful nature to you. So a lot of forward movement this month, a lot of wanting to go forward, but take it slow, okay? Because March is more about creating and getting positive and optimistic. It's not so much about doing. Leave that for April, which is more the planning, and then May is when huge changes and that sense of freedom, whatever that means to you, can really start to be coming into play. So the situation for Leos for March is this new frame of mind. There's like a new... Okay, it's the Ace of Swords, and I'm sorry that you can't even remotely. There it is. It's the Ace of Swords. So it's all about this new frame of mind, this new logic. You know, Leos can be so confident, and they really run off of ego instead of running off of intuition a lot of the times. A good example, last night, my Leo friend got a free Timmy's, and her ego says, well, what's the ulterior motive? Instead of her intuition realizing that Leos are so generous, and of course the universe is going to give that back, because Leos like, I don't have to shop because my sister-in-law is a Leo and she just gives me all of her old clothes, like without any form of debt repayment, any form of whatever. Leos are just so generous, and the universe loves to reward generosity. So the universe rewards you guys all the time by just having your generosity. So keep in mind that, you know, although it might seem like sometimes it's not coming from a pure place, that's just your ego talking. Set the ego aside. It's that really, really loud voice in your head. Listen to the little quiet one. That's your intuition. And 9 times out of 10, your intuition is spot on. And 10 times out of 10, your ego is just working from a place of desire and want. And it's not really conducive to spiritual awakening. It's not really conducive to forward movement when it comes to your spiritual journey. So just try to silence the ego a bit this month, okay? It's not too difficult. An obstacle and an aid is the Wheel of Fortune card. So the Wheel of Fortune card is all about forward movement and realizing that nothing is stagnant. Everything continues to flow and move with the world, and anything has a butterfly effect. So this new thought process that you guys are coming into this month, this new frame of mind with the Ace of Swords, is all conducive on this idea that you realize that time is fleeting and nothing stays the same. There's no stagnation. So that's good and bad news, right? Like, the good news is that things change, and the bad news is that things change. So recognize that with your thoughts, you can have some control when it comes to whether things are moving forward for the better or moving forward for the not so great. Whatever your perception of, whatever judgment you put on a situation is exactly how it's going to be perceived. You know, you could have a fallout with your best friend, and if you see the good in it, that maybe you guys needed to have that fallout in order to become stronger, or maybe you need that fallout in order to open up your life up to somebody who's more in line with your soul purpose, then it's really how you look at it. You know, it could be good or bad. So keep that in mind. Situations are only good or bad once we put our judgment on it, once we label it as good or bad, right? Just some things just are. It is what it is, and you can only really look back in hindsight and say, well, wow, that was all part of my soul's purpose. That was all part of my journey, and it got me to where I am here, so I need to honor that. Subconsciously, really looking at your finances, still really youthful when it comes to how you view your finances. Still have that tender touch, not that firm grasp, that your subconscious really wants you to take more of a firm grasp on your finances and just go for it. Build yourself up. That Leos are so confident. My I'm surrounded by Leos, by the way, and I love my life because of it, because I have my Jupiter in the 5th house, which is all about expanding, and Jupiter expands and Leo rules the 5th house, so it makes sense that I'm just surrounded by Leos. But my brother-in-law, Leo, on the full moon, had this overwhelming sense of confidence that he just went into work and he demanded a higher salary, and his boss gave it to him because he had that unshakable confidence that I can do this, so give me the chance to do it. And he's doing great now. Like, that's just, Leos are awesome in that aspect where they have the confidence, even if they don't even have anything to back it up. They could be homeless. Well, you would never see a homeless Leo because they're too confident. People invest in that confidence because they walk the walk. You know, they talk the talk and they walk the walk. Leos are very competent. So subconsciously, it's time to really take a firm grasp on your finances and really realize that you've built yourself up enough to really realize that it's time to start sharing that confidence with others and putting yourself out there more, because that is truly the key to freedom, especially financial freedom. Even if you go to your boss and you're asking for a raise and they say no, you still have that exhilaration, that thrust of motivation to go and ask for what you think you deserve, and that alone is completely empowering. Regardless of what the answer was, that boss is going to look at you so differently and say, this person is actually wanting something and asking for it. You know, a lot of times people want these things and they just don't even think to ask. So of course nobody's going to give it to you. They don't even know that you want it, right? So thought process, thinking that you need to rest, thinking that it's, that you need to take a step back, that you can't go forward, thinking that home and family is really keeping you at that standstill, and you really just want to enjoy the music right now, which is absolutely fine. Of course. Like I said, this could absolutely be the month that you just start creating in your mind, start getting more positive so you can really manifest from a positive and happy place, okay? So thinking that you really need to take a rest, that's definitely something that I can agree with. I'm also seeing a fox here, and foxes are very, in my opinion, foxes are very fast. They're very fickle. They're hard to come by. I don't see many foxes, and I live out in nature, so definitely don't see too many foxes. But foxes are also very beautiful. When I think about, foxes, especially when I think about even the Fox brand, it's that extreme, that, that forward momentum, that forward movement. To see a fox when it comes to the Four of Swords is really interesting, because you guys are foxes. You guys are not only foxy in the way that you dress and appear, wearing the orange and the red colors and the orange tones and the warm earth tones. You guys also are very quick. You're cunning. You're fast. So to have that rest at home is quite the opposite of that fastness that you're used to. So which is probably why it's on your mind so much and what you're thinking about. Something that would have just passed probably in February was moving away from something and moving away with power. Did that full moon in Leo empower you? Did it make you take some steps forward? Did it make you walk away from something? That's something that you might need to take some consideration, because during that full moon, although it was a release, if you weren't releasing the proper things, if it was just a pride thing, then it might be time to re-examine that over the Venus retrograde, especially when it comes to a partnership or a relationship or your finances, okay? Because with that full moon release, it really, in Leo, a lot of the times it was just a pride thing. The drama that surrounded me during the full moon in Leo really was just a lot of ego clashing and a lot of pride, and it really had no substantial emotional substance there. So keep that in mind. Maybe you need to revisit what you released during that full moon, and with that knowledge you can start to bring in what you truly want. So even though you might have released a lot, maybe you can just bring it back in a little bit, the aspects that you want. And sometimes releasing it all and dropping it all is what's needed to say, okay, well, I just, now that this is completely done, I just want this back. I just want this here, and see where you can find it. Maybe it's not finding it from that situation or that person. Maybe it's finding it from different avenues. So a future card is really seeing your ships come in. This is the same as one of the other signs. With this rest, with this moment of clarity that you guys are going to go through this month, you're going to be able to see what you really want to create in this world, and you're going to realize that what you've created is now starting to come into fruition, starting to materialize, starting to manifest into your lives. So keep an eye on that. Once you can recognize that the rest that you took this month is what's bringing in. So when you're resting, you're realizing what you want. You start to create from that restful hermit place of just solitude, being at home and family, and you start to manifest that in your mind. And this month, you're going to start to see it manifesting, and that's going to be so empowering, because you're going to be like, oh my God, I can create the world that I want. I've created the world that I have around me. And that can be an absolutely empowering and beautiful moment when you start to realize that the things in your life are the things that you brought in. Okay? So you right now, another moving away, now this is, you moved away with your power last month or in the past, in the immediate past, and now you're still in that lingering internal, I moved away, it was hard, so I needed to move away. I haven't looked back. I've really kept my focus, and it's really put a gray mist over, like a negative haze over your life. But it doesn't have to, because if you moved away with your emotions, with your power, if you walked away with your power, the only thing that is keeping you still in that state of I'm moving away is your thought. When it comes to it, is you're a prisoner to your thought process, because you walked away from something, but emotionally you're still there and you're still thinking about it. So how much walking away did you actually do when you're still trapped there through your mind? Okay. So family and friends, looking really good. Family and friends, a lot of authority, a lot of empowerment, a lot of transformation, a lot of forward movement, kind of like rushed right into it. And with that, this your family and friends became more focused, more authoritative, more single when it comes to their journey, and it's almost like they don't need you anymore. But you know what? Your family absolutely will always need you. They just want you to make the right decisions for you. Even though it might not seem that way on the surface, subconsciously, the people in your life only want the best for you, just like you only want the best for them. Like, there's no way, especially a Leo, has, you know, ill feelings towards their family and friends on a deep, deep surface, because we are all connected from a place of love. There's no way that you're going to be able to send this negativity to your family and friends and feel good about it. And for me, and I hope for you guys, and I hope for the world, March is all about feeling good and getting back to that place of happiness, because the eclipse was such an amazing release, and now we can finally feel whole again. Okay, so hopes and fears. You want to change, you want a sudden change, but you fear for it as well. You, like, that is, it's very Leo ego. That was awkward. It's very Leo. Oh my God, I keep saying Lego, but it's very Leo-esque to want something, to want that change, but then also fear it. You know, Leos can be, that's a fire sign, so you want that forward momentum, but what does that mean? And a lot of the times with the Tower card, it's all about, you know, knocking your pride off, knocking that ego off, and taking that leap of faith, just like I was telling the Tauruses. Take that leap of faith, leave your ego aside, and try to realize that you want that change, but your ego is the only thing that's stopping you from taking that. So last card, beautiful. You know, once you start to empower yourself, start to make that forward movement, realize the support that you have in your partnerships and all the work that you've done, you take that time for yourself, take a rest at home with your family, realize that you've moved so quickly, so agilely, if that's even a word, over this past 2 months. You've worked very hard. Over this past year, you've worked extremely hard. And now it's time to realize that your ships are coming in. It's going to be very, very forward movement. The key is to watch your thoughts, recognize and realize that change is inevitable. Change always comes. So there's no point of fearing it. You might as well grasp on and honor it, because, you know, it's coming. Some form of your life is changing in one way or the other, whether it's your frame of mind, whether it's your mentality, whether it's your physical life, your finances. Something absolutely is changing this year. New beginnings, huge new beginnings. So it's time to just embrace them. It's time to just welcome them in with open arms, welcome them in, create with it, play with it, enjoy it, romanticize it, because it's here and it wants you to embrace it, okay? So enjoy your change this month. I hope you guys have an amazing March, because I think it's going to be a great one. Remember what I said, no major love decisions until after April 15th, just to be on the safe side, okay? And enjoy the Venus retrograde, because it is an incredibly powerful tool. It's an incredibly powerful movement in the sky that allows us to revisit anything in our relationships, anything from our past, anything that has to do with our sense of love, our sense of self-love, self-care. All that stuff is very important going forward, because we can't go forward until we know where we came from. Another thing with Venus retrograde, don't do anything to your face or hair or any major cosmetic surgeries, nothing like that during the Venus retrograde, which starts on Saturday. So April 15th is your keyword. I hope you guys have an amazing one. Thank you so much for all your love. Love you guys. Bye.